All right, so we in Atlanta. It's a lot of people out here from the D. For people who don't know, for you square bears that don't know, it's Detroit, right? And a lot of people are just now tapping into Detroit, the Detroit sound, the whole thing that's going on. Instagram, people are seeing things they ain't never seen before. But please break down the difference between East and West Side Detroit. Let me give you some background, right? So I was ignorant to the difference. And my family's from Detroit, I'm from the Bay Area, to give some context. And so I think it was like 2 Christmases ago, I said something about I had to go to the East Side or something about East Side Detroit, and the room just got quiet. And I was like, I'll say something wrong, right? So help us out. What's the difference, man?
Well, listen, bro. So, I mean, I don't know how far back I should go, but just a history lesson. When black people from the South first started migrating to Detroit in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, right?
Okay.
They were running from segregation. They were running from Jim Crow, the Jim Crow South. When black people first started to populate Detroit in any meaningful numbers, the first area that they were allowed to move to was the east side of Detroit. So when it comes to just blackness in the city of Detroit, in terms of neighborhoods, the first black neighborhoods in the city of Detroit were on the east side of Detroit. So when black people from the South migrated to Detroit, they migrated to the east side first. You couldn't even go on the west side of Detroit at all, period. The west side of Detroit was 99.9% white. It wasn't until maybe the late 1960s, as the riots happened, 67, 68, 69, that you saw black people like moving westward in any meaningful numbers. So Detroit it was the black thing on the east side of Detroit, bro. So so amongst east side and west side people, they always say that the east side of Detroit is the rougher side. It's more, not now, because the lines have been blurred now. You can go to the west side and get your issue as well. But the black population of Detroit and all things black, in terms of bar ownership, in terms of all the cultural, that shit happened on the east side first, bro. Period. You couldn't even go, if you were black, you couldn't even go on the west side unless you had a pass to work as a waiter or to work as a housekeeper, like that. You couldn't even, you had to have a work permit. In the 60s, in the 50s and 60s, bro, you had to have a work permit to go into white neighborhoods, or you're gonna get arrested and gonna get your ass beat.
So even though Detroit wasn't in the South, they had extreme segregation when it came to living arrangements.
Detroit is a southern city because of the population. The original population came from the South. So a lot of the southern culture came with the people.
All right. And to give people some understanding, what notable actors, famous people, rappers are from the east side of Detroit, just so people can like put it together.
We lit now, so we can, everybody who lit on them right now come from the east side right now. You hear me? I'm gonna talk my. So I mean,
Babyface and all them, they from the
Babyface, Ray, East Side, Peasy,
East
Side, Icewear, Team East Side, Icewear, Vezo, East Side,
42
Doug, East Side, T Grizzly, West Side, but he East Side. So we adopted T Grizzly on our side.
About Snap Dog.
Snap Dog, West Side. He West Side. But the culture of Detroit is so lit now in terms of the music scene. We finally get our opportunity to kind of like show the genuine, true side, and we. So what happens is that most of the world thought that when they heard the Eminems and the Royce the 5'9s and the Big Seans, they thought that particular style of rap represented Detroit, because if you have to be in Detroit in order to understand what the true essence of the sound was. So Eminem never represented what the true essence of Detroit was from a music standpoint in terms of hip hop. Right. There was always a culture, and it wasn't a subculture. You know what I'm saying? Because there are more people who rap like Peasy and Icewear, Vezo and Sada Baby. There are more people who rap like that than there were people who rap like Eminem and Royce the 5'9", respectfully though. Right? Detroit is a hood city. So we street. You know, we talk about all things street. You know what I mean? We represent that street. The genuine culture of Detroit is about the street.
Okay. All right.